You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We have Kostya Kennedy, and he's the author of this amazing new book, True, The 4 Seasons of Jackie Robinson. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing well and hope you are too.
Thank you, man. And this is a special book. This is obviously about Jackie Robinson, but it's something slightly different than other books. Tell us why.
Well, as you mentioned, the title is True, The 4 Seasons of Jackie Robinson. And what we do is I looked at Jackie in 4 distinct periods of his life. They are actual literal seasons that are also metaphorically the spring, summer, autumn, and winter of his athletic and public life.
He started in Kansas City in 1945 before he got to Brooklyn, and he played for them 1947 through 1956. How big was his impact when he broke the barriers?
Oh, it was incredible. So in between those years, as you mentioned, he played in the Negro Leagues in Kansas City in 1945. Then in 1946, which is one of the actual seasons that I talk about, he played for Montreal in the International League. His home team was Montreal, but they played a lot of teams in America in that league. And he was the only black player in a white league then. You know, when he came to Brooklyn, Shamaya, it sounds rhetorical, but it's a real question. Where else but Ebbets Field in the United States in the late 1940s might you have seen a black family beside a white family rooting with common purpose for the Brooklyn Dodgers or for anything? It's completely united, whether it's Jackie Robinson getting a big hit or Duke Snider getting a big hit or whoever it may be. Maybe you're embracing one another, you're cheering together. It can't be overestimated what that meant, especially to young people in that time who, and several people spoke to me about it, like the experience of going to Ebbets Field. Could even in a place like Brooklyn, which wasn't segregated, still that people lived in neighborhoods that were sort of self-segregated. So here was a chance to really interact with people that you didn't normally interact with, and the impact was simply profound. And it's hard to overestimate what that meant to so many lives.
He wasn't just a great baseball player; he was a trailblazer and activist too. Also, how did he make an impact in that way?
Yeah, so toward the end while he was still playing and then after his career, he was very involved. He got involved with Dr. King very closely and did many things. As one example, Dr. King asked Robinson to lead sort of a fundraising and then construction mission to repair some burnt churches in Georgia. But Robinson felt a real responsibility for the opportunity that he had been given and the platform that he had. And so both as a sort of celebrity voice, writing columns in the New York Post and then in syndicated newspapers across the country, and you know, he'd write letters to the president, he'd make public appearances. He was at the Dream speech in Washington, sitting up at the dais near Dr. King. In that arena, and also on the ground, where he was really about economic empowerment and helped to found a Black-owned and Black-run bank in Harlem, and also began a low-income housing construction company. He was extremely active and extremely involved, and it was the mission of his life. It's what he wanted to do, and he tried to impact as best he could, and certainly did.
And he also did that while physically struggling with diabetes, and he still had that major influence. How important is that note also to realize that despite his challenges, he still fought through?
No, it's a really good point that you bring up. You know, so when he died in 1972, and for some perspective, he's only 53 years old, and he had diabetes and other health issues, and he sort of, you know, they got in his way because it had to. He had heart situations and he couldn't always do everything he wanted to do. But in another sense, he didn't let it get in his way. He really continued to be active despite those challenges, and sort of persevered through it. He was a man who led a very he didn't smoke, he didn't drink at all. He did have a fondness for sweets, which isn't such a sin, but it's not the greatest thing if you are struggling with diabetes. And of course, the treatment for diabetes, which still could be a lot better, but it is much better today, certainly than it was, 50, 60 years ago when it was a presence in Robinson's life. So he kind of had to soldier through that.
Once again, true honor talking to Kostya Kennedy. Get his amazing book, True, the 4 Seasons of Jackie Robinson. I want to say thank you for taking time out of your super busy schedule talking to us. But just remind those who are listening to this is year 2022 that marks the 50th anniversary of the passing of the true legend, Jackie Robinson.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for having me on, and it was a pleasure speaking with you.
I Am Refocus Radio is brought to you by Foo 4-Star and Holy Crab. Foo 4-Star is a family-owned Asian restaurant in San Antonio, Texas. We have been a local favorite for Asian cuisine for over 10 years. With nothing but full smiles and fast service, you'll be leaving satisfied. Come on in for some authentic Vietnamese food. Holy Crab is one-of-a-kind Cajun Creole-style seafood restaurant located in Universal City, Texas. We offer traditional seafood items as well as chicken and steak. We also offer seafood boils. Come give us a try. You won't be disappointed. You can find these 2 eateries in Universal City, Texas at 2921 Pat Booker Road.